Mixing is an extremely misunderstood art, but today, in just 10 minutes, I'm going to be showing you how to mix your track from this to this. I'm going to be using this template from my Modern Trance Toolkit. The link for that's at the top of the description. And I've got a discount code for YouTube people only, limited time, so use it while it lasts. And I've basically taken this and I've unmixed it. And I'm just going to be walking you through the steps to mix a track. You could use this with any genre. This method works infinitely. So, what we're going to start with for mixing is you can hear right now. First, you need to identify like what's making it a bad mix, right? So for me, it would be like you can't really hear the right levels in the drums. The bass isn't loud enough. You know, these like high percussions are kind of taking over. So what I do to start a mix is I always just mute everything except for the kick and the bass and figure out what's wrong there, right? Now, like, a lot of people, like, almost all genres, even, like, stuff with live drums, they often just do this, just get your kick and bass good, and then everything else can kind of work on top of that, right? So, literally, we're going to mute everything except for the kick to start. And then bring in the main, like, subby bass. So right away, the sidechain was a bit too heavy, and the level between these just needs to be very balanced to where you can really hear them equally. This is also where you can often hear, like, if you need to kind of bring up different things, you know, like, I feel like the kick could use just a tiny bit more high end. And also something that's good with your bass sometimes is to actually just kind of round off the sub a little bit like this. You can hear it just sort of lifts the bass a little bit. Then we can move up to the other bass layers. And I'm going to keep the sub bass and the kick at the same level, but I'm going to just kind of start to change the level of this around that. I'm also going to put a tiny bit of overdrive on this mid bass. You don't need to, but this can be a good way to get a little more presence out of it in the mid range. And then this organ bass, we're just going to fix the sidechain a little bit. So now already things are sounding a lot better. Now where I would usually go, it would be the main drums, like this main hi-hat and the clap. So right off the bat, they're way too loud compared to the kick and bass. Right, so this is where you can really start to like get this balance. This stage is all about getting a balance between these elements. I also see that this is a little bit uneven in the stereo field. So I'm just going to convert that to mono with a utility. And then last, we're going to put the hi-hats in a group. And we're going to put a little high pass on that group. Cool, and we can move up to the rest of our percussion now. This is where it's definitely time to sidechain that background hi-hat. Cool, we'll also bring in this guy. And you can see this, like if you look at it on the VU meter, it's kind of all over the place. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of compression on that. Now, compression is very overused, and I want to use this as an opportunity to talk about this, right? You shouldn't be compressing just like by default. It should only be like if there's something kind of wrong with the sound to sort of fix it and just make it work a little better in the track. Like in the case of this, we could turn this up a bit louder and have a steadier mix if this was a little flatter and less all over the place, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and compress it a little. Right, and now you can hear that it fits a bit better in the track. So again, compression, just like by default, compressing can really mess you up and can really just screw your tracks up. But if it's something like this, you can hear it just makes it a bit fuller and a bit cleaner. Cool. Then we're going to move up to our synths, starting with this main chord progression. So it's definitely a bit too loud. And the side chain was a bit too heavy. Let's also throw a little bit of a high pass on here. And this is also where we can start to think about like stereo width, because everything so far hasn't been very stereo. But this is something that I think if you would push it out to the sides a little bit, it would help. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can spread a sound out, right? I'll show you a few. For one, you can literally just take Ableton's align delay here, and what you do is put this on time mode, which is what it's on by default, and just move either of the ears forward a little bit. Right, and you can hear that it just spreads the sound out because you literally have the left ear happening 10 milliseconds after the right ear. And you can hear that it pushes it out of the way a little bit of like that mid bass and the organ bass. So that's a good way to get some kind of spread in your track. You can also do it old school style where you take like a delay. And what we're going to do is we're going to unsync it and we're going to make this really fast. You can hear that can get a little bit metallic though. That's why I'm not as big of a fan. And then also just stuff like chorus too. Like a little bit of chorus goes a long way. But you can hear so much more separation there. And also sometimes at this stage, now that we're hearing more, you can kind of go back and do a little bit of mixing as well. Like a lot of times once we're here and we're trying to get the basses and the instruments working together, I'll actually just put the kick and bass in a group and go like this. You can put a bit of saturation. Now, we're going to put it on medium curve, which if you can see already does a bit. You don't even have to turn the drive up. We're going to turn the dry wet down a little bit and just kind of bring it in, and you'll hear it in the whole track how much more presence this has. So that's a good way to bring that out a little bit more. Now we're going to move up to this ARP here. Now this is also where I want to talk about things that might seem like mixing, but it's really more so like how you set the track up. If you listen, this ARP is a little bit buried. I think we could get rid of a little bit of like low mid and that would help. But also, it's really not just mixing, it's also how your stuff is set up. If you take this and put it up an octave, all of a sudden you can hear it way more. So that's the thing about mixing, is like it is mixing, but it's also like how you set the elements up and what they're doing. You know, this was in the same octave as like the organ bass and the mid bass and even those chords before. If I put it back down, right, like it literally sounds like part of the organ bass. All of a sudden you put it up an octave or two, and you even want to like turn it down. So it's not always just mixing. It's also a lot of times just having things be in the right place, like sonically, and what they're actually doing in the track. Then we got this last element, this guitar. Now this one definitely needs a little bit of high pass. This is a good opportunity for me to show you though, don't high pass too high, right? The temptation can be to take it and do like that. But check out what happens if I start doing that on all of these elements. Like I'll take this one up super high like that, and then we'll take this one up super high like that. All of a sudden the track sounds super thin, right? Everybody's wondering, how do I make my track sound less thin? Well, you're probably high passing too high. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna listen and look at the spectrum. And do like that. Now the last step here is you want to make sure before you get to any mastering that you're not clipping. And we are slightly clipping. The good news is it's very easy to fix that. All you got to do in Ableton, this is why if you're doing volume automations, we don't automate these track volumes. If you're trying to do a volume automation, just get a utility and automate the gain on that, you know, like this. Because at the end of the process now, to just make sure we're good for mastering, we can hit one of these and then hit Command A or Control A on Windows, and then you can just bring down the volume of one track and it'll bring all of them down while keeping the same ratios. And now we're ready for mastering. So that is how to mix your track. If you follow this guide, you really can't go wrong, and it'll help you get a lot quicker results and better. So that is going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. Like I said in the beginning, you can get this full template in the Modern Trance Toolkit, and I've got a promo code in the description to give you a discount just for YouTube people. Limited time only, so don't miss out. Thanks for the support, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.